Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Paradigm Reboot reaction. Today we have Sense of Wonder by Yu Asahina. I'm not really sure much about this game, honestly. I've only had a few songs from it so far. I think it's a game. Pretty sure it's a game. See, the fact that I don't even really remember is a bad sign, but apparently this song is a boss theme for a side story event, which just answered my question. It's a boss theme. Of course it's a video game. I'm an idiot. Anyway, I'm going to be listening to this because St. Beppis said I needed to in the executive producer queue, and I guess that's about it. And without further ado, let's go! Okay. It's just like the first second or so makes me like do a check of what I need to prepare for. And I wasn't in that headspace, but now I am. Ooh. It's like that constant bass flutter underneath. It's kind of neat. Usually it's not quite that subtle, you know? Go all the way down that scale. Ooh, do it again. On the synth that time. Ooh. It's got a little bit of a kind of a jazziness to it. I can feel that coming a mile away. I'm so glad they did that. The composition of this one is, I was gonna say very like fun and familiar, but ooh. Little piano solo there kind of took my attention away. Ooh, a little dissonance in the chords there. I guess that would happen in a boss theme. Add some dissonance for tension. It's like, it's so smooth and strangely welcoming for a boss theme. It's inviting. Tempting almost. Maybe that's the vibe. Especially with this picture that's really giving, I have two sides. Like, I was weighing whether or not to make that connection and that joke, but I couldn't help it. It definitely has that energy to it. And it's probably related to the whole temptation thing, like I said. They really did push that in the composition for sure. It is bugging me a little bit that I think I recognize the name Yu Asahina, and I don't know why. I looked it up on my channel and my videos to see if I had listened to something else by them, and seemingly I haven't. Maybe they've helped out on a different song. I just recognize that name. I just don't know from where or why, and that always bugs me when I can't find the answer to that, because usually when I have that feeling, it's because I got to a video of them forever ago, you know, like maybe a year plus, but that's not the case here, at least not from my own search, so I don't know why I recognize this name. Maybe it was just tossed around in chats enough for me to have seen it, but I don't know. This isn't really one of those titles that gets tossed around like in my Discord or anything, but Paradigm Reboot really isn't the hottest topic in my server, so I don't really know why I would have seen this name somewhere, and that's just kind of bugging me, but it's really beside the point. This song, well produced. It had really nice production all the way through. Everything was super well balanced, and I do love that, as we all know. I love when songs balance their sounds everywhere. And I love the piano in this one. The piano in here was gorgeous. Like every little bit of piano in this song was so intentional. And duh, like of course it's a composition, it's got to be intentional. But I mean like where it was placed, when it was placed, and like how even prominent it was in the mix at certain times versus others. That dynamic quality to the mix is super important to me. And I love talking about dynamic mixing because it really is important to a song to have dynamic availability for different instruments. Like, what do you want the listener to be feeling in that time? And different instruments can have a different effect on that. A different result will come from doing, a piano at certain spots instead of, I don't know, making it a trumpet, like a completely different energy. It can have the exact same notes and have the same dynamics even, but if it's a different instrument, that's a different voice, that's a different quality. So choosing when and where to place stuff like that and being so intentional about it is just huge to me. And they did a really nice job with this one, because every single time, like that one spot where I like stuttered, I had to stop and listen to it because it almost demanded my attention in that moment. Even though I was about to yap over it, it's just something about it drugged my attention back into place and forced me to listen to it. And I respect that, especially as somebody who was laced with ADHD as a child. I have constant need to have stimulation and stuff like that going on, and I really can't get away from that. So when I try to give it to myself by talking or explaining my thoughts and having that like autistic outburst of like, ooh, that's cool, here's why, that song didn't let me have that in that moment. And I almost have a respect for that, because not only did it pull my attention back, but it did it in a way that didn't feel like it was forcing itself to make me pay attention. It wasn't like yelling at me. It was just like a tap on the shoulder. And that was really nice. I don't know how else to explain that. I guess that is probably the best way. It felt like a tap on the shoulder to pay attention, because that next section was going to be important to the story. And it was, because that energy carried itself into the spot where the picture changed and there was this other character, or maybe the same character, but with, again, kind of like a I have two sides sort of energy, where their internal battle and internal struggle is maybe personifying itself and becoming part of that, constant push and pull, and is probably the main conflict of this character's story. So it's like, it makes sense, right? And of course the boss thing and like this song being a theme for that probably is all connected. So they did a really, really good job at just making all of that clear, especially to somebody like me who needs to have that movement in order to truly understand and feel something. It doesn't have to be like going crazy all the time and changing constantly for me to pay attention to it, but it needs to be intentional. It needs to tell me something and kindly ask me to pay attention, because otherwise I'm going to fall asleep. Like I can hear the most beautiful music, beautiful orchestration live in concert, and it can be the softest time. And that is beautiful to me because it's asking me to be there and be present. And this song does that multiple times, pretty much the whole time. It's constantly shifting what the emotion is and what it's trying to tell you. And I just appreciate how smooth it was. Again, the production was brilliant as well, and the balancing of everything was really top tier. But also, just as a general personal note, I love that sound. I love that feeling that it was giving me. It was almost like a warm hug, but at the same time, there was something off about it, and you can't quite tell. And that was the dissonant notes that we were getting in there. It was that moment where you're hugging somebody, and it's like there's a third party, like a camera, like looking at the person hugging you, and then like give you one of those like, like sort of like evil looks at the camera, like they know something or they're gonna do something, and you don't know, but they know. And I think that that's what that was trying to do. So again, it's just my brain doing brain things, but I do love how this one sounded and how beautiful it was. Yet at the same time, not necessarily lying to you, more like tricking you, persuading you, almost being kind of seductive in a way. I don't know if that's like the right word, but it definitely feels kind of right. There was a calmness to this and a welcoming sort of feel to it. But there was that edge that I just couldn't get quite over, where I felt like there was something more that I don't know And the song was trying to warn me about that. Like the audience yelling at the camera when they're giving the camera that look and they're like, no, turn around, they're behind you. This is the first song that's gotten me to think like this in a while. So again, I appreciate that too. And it's just really beautiful overall. I'm really glad I got to listen to this one. But I think I'm done yapping here. I think I've talked in a few circles already. That tends to happen. But either way, if you enjoyed this video and you have something else from Paradigm Reboot you want me to get to, drop in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you want to guarantee it, much like St. Beppis did for this one, you can go to my Patreon, you can go to my YouTube memberships. There's a tier that forces me to listen to whatever you want. Doesn't matter what it's from, who it's by, if it's good or bad, none of that matters. That's why it's a guarantee. But if you don't want to do any of that, maybe just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that. And I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!